episode 2.
Yeah.
Episode 2 of the G.O.A.T Cult podcast.
Mm.
And our topics today is...
So the first topic is extraterrestrial.
Aliens, lovely.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
If you believe in them, if you
Do
have
you believe?
experience.
Been abducted every single time. Every time I leave the house, I'm abducted.
No, some people do believe that they have been, and
yeah, but have you seen the state of them?
well, yeah, normally they're high off their head and God knows
I'm sure,
what.
like, I don't know. You just look at them and you think like something's mentally wrong with you. But then that could be the after effect of these aliens.
It could be.
Could be.
So the second topic.
It's a bit like Silent Hill. It's like ghosts.
Yeah, would be the
Ghosts.
paranormal.
Oh, the ghosts,
The
the
ghosts,
spiritual
the
warriors.
spirits, the demons. Do you believe? Have you had?
Do I believe
an
in
experience?
demons?
Do you believe in all of that? Angel, death,
Voodoo.
yeah, heaven, hell. We're going to open a can of worms anyway, but
Mate, I've already literally said that people that have been abducted look a bit funny.
yeah, but they do.
I'm
I'm
keeping
gonna
it
just
PG,
say-
but gradually we know it's...
Yeah, it's gonna take a turn, but
If it doesn't, I'll be surprised.
I think that's just the two main topics.
2 main topics. Okay. Well, let's see where this one leads.
Oh yes. And obviously, yeah, if you are joining in from the first one, if I've put this in the playlist correctly, then
I said to you I won't do it anymore. Said to you this is enough. But no, it's fine.
But no,
It's fine. It's
well, I'm enjoying it anyway.
okay.
And yeah, there's a secret. Well, it's not a secret, but there's a twist at the end of.
Yeah,
At the end
this
of
is
this,
where you're
which is-
likely to find out whether we're arseholes or we're not.
Well,
Have you got your questions
Hmm?
for later? Have you wrote your questions down for later?
I haven't, but I have.
You
I
got
have
something
some,
in your
yeah,
head?
I've got some questions later.
Okay.
That's for the next bit.
Great.
So yeah, we'll start off with the extraterrestrial, I suppose.
Alien, something I was obsessed in.
So obviously, I suppose the first easy question is: do you believe in them?
It's hard.
Mm.
It's hard to say yes or no. I mean,
Yeah.
like, you're literally looking at... I mean, technically, animals are aliens to us.
Exactly. Like it
So,
very much
Like I said to
defines what you.
yeah, like
what
I
you
said
define. Sorry. Very much what you define as an alien.
yeah, I mean, we could look at animals and think they're a bit odd.
Mm.
They could be I mean, whoever classified them as animals could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
We're only going by textbooks.
Mm.
And that is literally what everyone literally does. We grow up and we learn from textbooks. We're
Mm.
taught things. If them textbooks and everything else wasn't around, I mean, technically we'd look at animals as aliens.
Yeah.
So to that extent, I'm kind of thinking like, well, yeah, I do, because there's loads of things which are different species to us, which therefore is alien.
Mm.
Am I stretching too far?
No,
Or can we
no,
look at
no.
most?
Like, a lot of people do believe that.
But are you talking
Obviously,
about like flying saucers?
So
and
that's why
stuff?
I sort of like, if I define the parameters to extraterrestrial.
So you're talking flying saucers and...
Yeah, anything from that is not of its Earth.
See, the thing is that it's got to originate somewhere.
Mm.
Everything has an origin.
Oh yeah.
So somewhere along the line, someone has seen something. Or
Yeah.
somewhere along the line, like, some shit has been said.
Yeah.
And it's spread across history.
Mm.
I mean, we could go back to the pyramids. They've got, like, rockets. How did the Egyptians even know what a rocket was? But they drew one.
Yeah. Or gunpowder and stuff like
Yeah,
that. There
I
was,
mean, like-
it wasn't called gunpowder, but it was called. It was still
I mean,
there.
the main subject matter is, like, if the Egyptians saw this shit, and they created pyramids that we physically cannot create to that extent, like to that level. I mean, they're accurate.
They are accurate.
Like, no machine can make one as accurate as what they have. And they've tried it, and it was proven that they couldn't. Not to the accuracy, not to the fine detail, not to the weight construction. It just didn't work.
So, and obviously, like, I haven't been to Egypt or anything myself, but the documentaries, every single one of the documentaries that I've seen have said you can literally look up close to the pyramids and you can see the pick marks, you can see
you can see how defined it is made.
You can see where the stonemason has chiselled away.
And yet today they can't even make anything like it. With all our advanced technology, they can't make it.
Do you think we're relying on our advanced technology a bit too much, so we've got more comfortable?
I reckon everyone relies on technology too much.
Oh yeah.
Everyone. Like, everyone in the world relies on technology as a form of communication, as a form of, like, getting things done, like your job, like, you know, like your whole life basically revolves around technology.
Very true. Do you think that more reliant, like, that we've lost touch with, like,
basically,
that ancient tradition?
You can probably ask, like, a 10-year-old. Like, a 10-year-old probably knows more about a computer than what I do.
Oh yeah, my little brother knows more about an iPhone than I do.
And that is shocking. That's shocking considering we live longer. And we're looking at these technology like, wow, and yet the young generation are relying on it so much.
A little bit too much.
And therefore they've lost touch with their whole human being, like, as you are. Like, you're meant to be able to make things, you're meant to be able to do things. Technically, you're looking at Google just to create a cupboard.
Yeah, you've lost, well, basically we've lost touch with our crafts.
Yeah.
Like, just, you know, you used to have different segments of people. Like, you used to have stonemasons, then you would go to the carpenter, then you would go to the painter, then you would go to the...
And it's all been wiped out because technology can do it for you.
Yeah. You know, with one click you can have someone make your stone fireplace, fill it with logs, like, attach it to the side of your house and off you go.
It's strange because you kind of think, like, okay, how is it going to evolve? Like, many people said we'd have flying cars by now, and they can't do it.
Yeah,
they can't do it.
But
they've literally advanced computers, phones, like machines. I wonder how many people lost their jobs when machines came into progress because there was no
communication aspect.
Yeah,
like the old telephone. We used, you used to go through to a switchboard. You used to go through to an operator where he would manually connect you.
So now it's like, oh, okay, I can just do this on my phone and, like, I can book a flight. Whereas beforehand, you
had to go to the airport to then book your flight to come away.
And, like, literally, like, it makes you wonder how many people have literally just lost their jobs when technology took over. Because if people didn't keep up with technology, you'd be left behind and you'd have nothing.
Oh yeah.
Theoretically, how many people do we actually know in their, like, probably 60s that don't know how to use a computer? And, like, you know, they could still work. They're still able to work, but they can't get
grasp that technology.
They can't get their head around it, or they're not. Should we say, like, they're not tech savvy.
Yeah.
They're not, like, throwing it all out there, going like, oh, I can do this, but they can't. I mean, like, I had to teach my grandmother how to use a fucking phone.
I did the same.
And she literally would call up everyone but me. So I was like, doing a good job. But it's like, you know, like, how many people literally would make things by hand, like you said, and literally go through it.
Technology. Carpenters used to make bows, used to make arrows, used to make, you know.
Technology has literally been wiped. It's been wiped. Like, and
it's like someone's hit that massive reset button, and we've started from, okay, right. So you haven't got all your other crafts, but you're starting with a computer.
Yeah. I mean, not many people nowadays in their 50s or 60s will be able to, like, you know, literally go to a job and use the computer, or even go to the interview and get through that interview process because of technology. So, for, like, as we're going back to our main subject, like, Egyptians knew how to create these pyramids, but I'm not sure how. And you look at the
hieroglyphics. I think they're more, myself personally, I think it's more of, you know, if you have one person having that focus, like like the pharaohs and everything else had, they relied on one source.
Yeah.
But
they knew how to do it. Whereas you get people today, like I said, try and build a pyramid, they can't do it to that accuracy.
No. Not with the materials that they use.
Even now. Even like with our technology, like I said, we can't build it that way.
No.
So they got some insight from somewhere. And you look at the hieroglyphics, it's like, rockets, it's like spaceships, weird animals, mythical creatures even.
That like, we wouldn't, like a lot of their, like it's based on serpent, then it's based on the forest, then it's based on the sea, and I have noticed like just little watchings, like just watching little, as I said, little documentaries. Yeah. You do get to think, well, maybe it's like a water tribe, or maybe it's a.
But do you look at these documentaries like they're telling me the truth?
No.
And you don't.
No, I'm intrigued by
people's feelings.
One or two people's feelings at the time on how it all fits together.
So it's kind of like, how did humans get here, kind of thing, right?
Kind of thing, like
you can't figure it out. You can't.
No, it makes me want to go back to that point and think, actually, I want to see how
time travel. You probably wouldn't even we wouldn't even last a day. If we time travelled back then, we'd be like going like, what do we do? Oh, we ain't got Google anymore.
No.
Like everyone would be like, oh shit. But it's kind of like would you go back?
I would love to go back, to be fair. Just to learn.
What, learn a craft perhaps? Okay.
Like
a blacksmith craft. Sword maker. Could build a really good axe. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, it is that aspect of. So basically, the lesser being is always being taught by the higher being. Yeah. So that we've been told it's how it's going. But what if it's that massive reset button again?
Yeah. I used to look at textbooks and think, does that make sense? Like, I used to go into like religious education thinking like, is this correct? And I'm sure I'm gonna like stir so much shit eventually. But where's the proof?
We don't know.
Where's the proof? I want the proof.
We don't know for sure.
I want it right there on the table in front of me of proof of how we got here, how we evolved, allegedly, how we did this. I mean, when it comes to all of this, as well as aliens, like, how can we be so sure on anything? We can't.
That is the.
I mean, even when they were talking about these pyramids and how they constructed them, I was like, are you sure about that?
But if you think your pure scale of how allegedly how many people were involved in.
There was a lot of people.
Like the Great Pyramids of Giza.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that actually worked them.
Thousands and thousands and thousands. It's basically, you could say, one man of one country controlling the rest of the people of that country and going, we are going to build this. Yeah. I want it to look like this, make it happen. But you think it's a dictatorship.
Yeah, it's a lot of time.
But it is a lot of time. And if you think, as you said, like how they got those precise angles.
They didn't even have a ruler.
No.
Imagine going back in time and handing them a ruler and going and do it properly. It just wouldn't
You're
work.
a centimetre out, 3 bricks
down.
Exactly.
You need to do this correctly, it's alright. But it's like, you can't literally go, okay, well this happened and this happened. Like, there's no real evidence.
No.
And that's the problem.
About 4 or 5 people that you could class as experts of their field from what they know,
what they read,
or what they
what
they've found out.
It's another textbook. It's another.
But it's like anyone really, how can you say that English is English? How can you say like I'm not gonna go on to that whole.
You could. No, but
I'm just saying, like, how can you say that a language is based or classed as a language? Because purely we're
take away the classes of everything. Then theoretically you have a thing.
Yeah. You
have literally just a thing. You don't say, oh, it's an animal, oh, it's an object, oh, it's a mechanism, or it's this. You have a thing. And that's all it is a thing. And once you take away, like I said, you take away the categories that everyone's put into, there's nothing.
There's nothing. Everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah, it's an even playing field. And that kind of worries me a little bit.
It does.
Because everything has its place, like a cycle, like a life cycle. You all have your place. So
it's like the human will eat certain animals, which will eat certain grasses, which would eat certain mosses, and so on and so forth.
But it's all put into different categories, and if we're going back to aliens, I'd say yeah, they do exist, but maybe not to the extent that some people possibly claim.
No, that is.
Some people have insight. Some people have the ability to see things or know things,
and I think no one else can quite explain.
Yeah, and that I'd consider like some type of alien power. You'd be like, oh, that's a bit weird. That guy predicted that, and it happened. Like Nostradamus, he predicted quite a lot of things that happened, but then he's also predicted a lot which didn't happen.
That just didn't happen.
But then again, like every day, it's a different timeline.
Yeah.
So if everyone carried on the same timeline, like gradually you reach your end goal. So maybe Nostradamus did pick something that was going to happen, but someone changed their mind. Yeah, later on they changed their mind.
Because you all revolve around freedom of choice.
And you're literally shifting the timeline. Yeah. He made a prediction. He made many predictions, but the main prediction he probably would have made was the end of the world, if I'm not correct.
I believe so.
Yeah, and then it just didn't happen. And everyone was expecting it. Everyone was like, oh, this could happen. The end of the world's coming now. I remember, across social groups and stuff, they were like, oh, the end of the world, he predicted this. So much so that some people were like building secret bunkers and like storing food.
End of days.
Yeah, they were literally like, oh, it's the end of the world, it's going to happen. Nothing. Literally, I woke up that day going, is that it? Is that all? Is that the main thing?
Yeah. Is it done?
Yeah. But I was like, he predicted a lot, and I think so much of it was possibly coincidence. Possibly there was no other way to say it was going to happen, because it would eventually happen.
If you say something long enough, it will happen.
Yeah, I mean the time scale of it. But like I said, aliens probably do exist, but maybe not to the extent that many of us
humanoid.
Like
they may not be humanoid, but they may be able to interact in certain ways.
Yeah, I mean, like you could, like I said before, like certain people have gifts. Certain people are able to do things, like some people can predict things, some people can be able to do literally, I don't know, some people can clock into someone and see exactly what they're doing and know. Maybe like a parental instinct. Like, your mother has that natural instinct.
Yeah, basic.
Yeah, but you would never have that. I'd never have that. And it's kind of like, is this like something we should look at? That mothers have this natural instinct? Or is it because they carry them for so many months? Is it because, it's certain things that certain people...
You could say it's, in some aspects, it's through evolution, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Like getting it from the inherent animals, from the thing. But you have that sort of extra sense.
I'll say this now, 50% of human DNA is in a banana.
That's very true.
How fucking scary is that? To know that a banana has 50% of human DNA in it. And for you to say that animal instinct or some type of thing, I'm thinking like, well, we're allegedly close to apes. But we're close to apes, but we're also close to like a banana, which the ape eats. But coincidence? Anyone going to look into this? No one's going to look into this.
How high are we on the food chain at this point in time?
No one's looking into it. No one's looking into the fact that allegedly we come from monkeys and apes, and bananas have 50% human DNA in it. How the fuck did that banana get DNA in it? That's what I want to know.
Like, for me, I would explain that with, obviously, as you say, the end goal of the humanoid dying, and obviously 9 times out of 10 it ends in the ground, or they end up in the ground.
Yeah.
Which would then use
trees
fertilization. Fertilization for the thing.
But still, that's a lot of fucking bananas, mate.
But then we've been around for thousands and thousands of years.
So you're telling me the DNA is still being processed for these bananas?
But if you think
now you've got me thinking, who's fucking bananas? Like, who is having sex with bananas to put that DNA in it that's why I don't eat them. I'm looking at them right now like a proper shifty. Looking at them like... Whoa.
And then we could fall over as well, right?
I'm not being funny, but how can you eat a banana normally? You can't.
No, that's true.
You can't. I don't think I've ever... I think probably the last time I had a banana I was probably like a child.
Someone has already cut that up for you.
Yeah, it's probably shoved in a sandwich or something, but yeah, like... No. I don't want the taste of it. It's the consistency of holding and touching that banana. Like, no matter where you go, you'll never see a person eat a banana. And if you do, mate, they're a bit on the weird scale. They're usually sat there like, it's like, oh, don't do that, don't do that. And they're like, oh, and then they look at you. And if it's a male, you're like, oh. But you're looking at them like, are you going to eat it? You're looking at them like, are you going to eat that? Like, are you really going to eat that in public? And then they're like, and then all of a sudden they just look at you and you're like, oh.
He's very much comfortable with it.
He's very comfortable with eating a banana in public and keeping eye contact. I swear he kept looking at me throughout the whole thing.
I say definitively.
I mean, like, growing up, I looked at a lot of alien books. Looked up a lot of, like, people that apparently have been abducted. I mean, it's strange. So many people go missing and they can't find them. That's another thing that stays in my head.
True.
Is it like Alaska, where they have so many people fucking go missing?
There's
and I'm
one place rings to mind, like the Bermuda Triangle. How can so many ships and how many can so many things? But then that's a whole new conspiracy theory.
Don't get me started on shit, mate. But it's the abductions. Like, children don't just go missing. And it's not just, dare I say, children, it's adults as well. I swear it was Alaska, where there's like 3,000 plus people a year go fucking missing. And this is the most activity, and no one's actually like driving around trying to look for them. They just shove them on milk cartons and like people pay attention. Like, that's a pretty big scale. Like, I think it's like 30. I don't even know. I swear, like, last time I looked up this stuff, it was like 3,000 people go missing in Alaska every day. It's like every day, every week. What? But you're thinking like, surely someone knows something.
Yeah, surely someone's going to see something.
I swear, like, either it was our Prime Minister or some other country's Prime Minister said aliens exist. And I was like, oh, does it really? Does it exist? And I was like, whoa, you scare me a little bit. Like,
if you sit down and you think, and
I do a lot of that.
Like,
I don't want to think.
Not explaining everything because someone's told you something. With just basically what you know, which for me, I'm gonna be true. It's not a lot.
No.
Most of my stuff that I've come to believe or come to.
Has it been from textbooks and the teacher?
no. It's been off of documentaries and stuff, but.
What have you really learned about this alien thing then? As this is our main subject, like, you've probably like seen documentaries of things flying in the sky. During World War I or II, I think it was, like, Germany created this, like, cylinder. And they had this machine that could power it or something. And it could fly up.
It was purely like on air.
Yeah, it was a disc.
The airflow and around a magnetic something.
And I swear, like, a lot of people during World War I or II, I can't remember, they're both pretty much
they
saw a lot of flying discs.
Spikes, yeah.
And they were like, oh, look, what's this? And they saw flying discs everywhere. And I was like, what? Why don't we see that? Oh, yeah, because...
Apparently.
I've seen pictures of these machines, mate. It looks like a piece of concrete with, like, you know, like a spinny top toy.
Yeah.
Right? It looked like that could fit in the concrete, but obviously life size. Like, massive. Like, it looked like it could fit in the concrete build. And I was just like, wow. Like, that's some advanced technology. To create a flying cylinder, whether it was I can't remember whether it was a spy machine or not. But it hovered, and so many people reported these flying saucers.
Yeah, I think if I vaguely remember, it's silver spheres. It was
circular
spheres and discs, and no one could explain what was going on. No one could explain.
Like some people took photographs.
The snake is very active tonight.
Yeah, but it was like people took pictures of these discs. I mean, there was pictures of like other things, but I swear there's like, look on Google, please look on Google and correct me if I'm wrong. But these pictures actually look like UFOs. And I was just like, shit, like, Germany's got some shit. Like,
yeah, it wasn't just Germany either. There was a documentary.
You and these documentaries are going to get you in trouble.
They are going to get me in trouble. But obviously, it was basically like the spy game revealed, apparently. So what they
sounds good already.
So what they wanted you to know.
Wow. I like the name already. The spy game. That sounds good, doesn't it?
It does sound good. It was basically what different countries built to see if they can do it. if it was silent enough to be undetected.
It's kind of scary.
And low enough. It is very scary if you think maybe if, you know, one of these countries did manage to do it.
Makes you wonder.
And you think obviously
the war could have changed it evenly at this point.
Yeah.
It could have. They weren't so like adamant on gas. Like little did they know we had gas masks. We were fine. But no, my grandmother was in the war. Like I think it was World War II, and like she saw a lot of people get blown to shit.
Yeah.
But she very rarely spoke about it. She said that apparently on Christmas Day they hid under tables. Like these tables had like chains around them, like a netting, and they would play with their toys under the table.
Allison shelters inside.
Yeah, but they would hide under the table. I mean, in the house, down in the garden, I'm pretty sure I can dig up half of an Anderson shelter that they had built. And I swear it was like a couple of neighbouring people would also go into that shelter. Yeah. I mean, I found my grandmother's ration book as well, and I was just like, 1 egg? You were like 1 egg a week? 1 egg, 1 slice of butter, 2 bits of bread.
Yeah, it's amazing what they survived on.
Yeah, and not being funny, like, she was probably quite young at this point. I say young, probably about 10, maybe. But looking at their rations, like, you give that to a kid today, and he's like, no, just go and just eat. Like, take away the technology, have a ration book, see how they cope. Kind of scary, very scary. But a part of me does think aliens exist. Like, there's technology we don't know about. There's shit we don't see.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I'd believe that they exist or don't exist, but I do say that there is stuff that is unexplained. There's stuff that we don't know.
You know me in terms of quite well, right?
Yeah.
Now, what I can't get my head around, and this is what I not often think about, maybe, every now and then, but I think about this. If the Earth is round, and there's other planets in our solar system, and we are allegedly the only people here,
yeah,
like, and allegedly they went to the moon, no one believes it, but they went to the moon, they've sent like little fucking robot things everywhere. Do you actually believe they've sent that shit? I honestly don't. A part of me believes that Earth is flat, hate me. They also, like, in my head, they already hate me. No, but I think that the Earth is flat. I think that I've been in an airplane. I haven't seen it once curve. I haven't done it. I haven't seen it. I spoke to the pilot. Like, he kind of scared me a little bit. He said he just goes straight. Well, not straight, but you know, he doesn't go up or round. It doesn't go straight. And I'm like, if the Earth is round, you're going straight. So the Earth is circular. We took off and we're going straight, and the Earth is circular and we're going. We should be in fucking space. I shouldn't have landed. If we're going straight, mate, we're going straight. But no, like, I battle this concept. Whether the Earth is round or flat, I still really think it's flat. But if it is round, I don't believe anyone's left it. I want proof people have fucking left it. I don't think they have. I think everything we see is like photoshopped, graphic, like, hate me, please hate me. But I think that everything they feed us is a lie. I think everything is a lie. Until it's directly in front of me, sat here saying, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, like, you can physically go and see, physically go.
But I do not believe fuck all unless I see it. And like, I've experienced minor little weird things. And this will eventually lead us on to ghosts.
But the second part.
But like, lights in the sky. Like, I remember we were driving down this road and we were in the middle of nowhere, and there was like a group of us. And we were in the middle of nowhere. Like, we were literally following like the sat nav, relying on technology. And we were just driving, and all of a sudden, like, we woke up, and I was like, did I fall asleep? Like, my friend who was driving fell asleep, I fell asleep, 2 people we were with fell asleep, and we were like, what the fuck?
How are we still going on the road?
Yeah, like, he was just driving, he was like, I don't know what happened. I was like, what do you mean you don't know what happened? Like, my life, their lives, in this driver's hands, and he didn't know what happened. But 4 hours plus had passed, and we were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no road is that long.
And we were
in a straight line.
Yeah, but we were like, what the fuck? Like, we couldn't figure it out, and like, don't do drugs. Occasionally drink, but we weren't drunk.
No.
We were travelling at night, but I remember vaguely seeing some lights. And I swear there was other cars with us. So whether they experienced the same shit we did or not, but we literally carried on driving. Boom. Woke up 4.5 hours later plus, and we were like, what the fuck? And we still haven't reached our destination. I couldn't make heads or tails of it. It freaked me out a bit. It seemed like we either went through a time loop or some weird shit happened. I can't even explain it. Mate, I can't even fucking explain it, but everyone that was with me freaked out. It seemed like we all woke up at the same time, but the driver woke up as well and we're still driving. But the car had obviously not necessarily come to a halt, but we were just rolling.
It was a roll.
Yeah, we were just moving. And even he looked at me and was like, it's time. And we were like, I was looking out the window like, it's still light, we're still travelling. I couldn't figure it out. But I remember vaguely seeing these weird lights in the sky. And we were just like, what is that? And we were all looking up at them. Boom, next minute, gone. Had no idea. That's probably my only alien experience that I can figure out.
Yeah.
That I can't put down to like supernatural, some weird shit. But weirdly enough, there was other cars behind us still travelling at the same speed like as us.
So they
literally
wouldn't expect to slow down.
No, they literally. It was like,
they would have.
Think of a train set. The train set, like you kick the button and you just watch it, right?
Power.
Yeah, and then you
let go, and it
slowly moves.
Slowly goes.
And we all couldn't figure it out. And I remember pulling over and we were speaking to the driver behind us. We were like, what happened? He was like, oh, we're just driving. I was like, what, 10 miles per hour? Not even that. I was like, fucking weird shit.
So why didn't you overtake?
And he was like, oh, we're just following. I was like, but you can't do that, and then so many hours passed.
Yeah, you know, you would have got bored. Someone would have overtaken.
Mate, I was wide awake, and for some reason I was gone. Literally, like I woke up, I was like, what? Can't explain it.
No.
And let alone that the road didn't move. Like in terms of like we didn't go around the corner. We were still going the same way. We were still literally 4 hours away from where we wanted to be, or 3 hours, whatever it was. This happened in 2000 and what? 19? 18, around that time?
So it must have been 18, about 18, 19.
And we were just,
19, I think,
we were literally like, what the fuck? We couldn't figure it out. And no one could explain it. And that's kind of creepy to me.
Oh no, even I'll be like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, like, we literally pulled over, spoke to the driver behind us, because, like, we literally flagged him down as we slowly moved, because it was only, like, 2 lanes. And we slowly flagged over, put the hazard on, and, like, the driver, like, my friend, he was, like, waving to the driver to, like, come talk to us, slow down. No other car behind us, but cars were travelling faster on the other side. And we were like, what the fuck? We literally woke up, I was like, what the fuck? Either that or I just fell asleep, and it seems like a dream. But for everyone else to experience it,
like closes. But then you wouldn't.
No, everyone else to experience it in the car behind.
Yeah, you wouldn't all experience the same thing.
I mean, I swear the car behind was like a people carrier or something, and like it was just him. And when we said to him, we were like, "How long have you been following us?" It was like hours. And we were like, "Hours, hours." Like even my friend, he didn't even know.
It's just
he literally was like, he just took it as weird.
It's weird.
He's like, I'm weird. I'll go back home, do my day. I sat here thinking like, what the fuck?
What just happened?
Yeah, like I was like, what the fuck? But also when I was younger, like 2 kids went missing in Birmingham. There was a big flash in the sky. 2 kids went missing, and my uncle just called me in. We were playing with them at the time. Like we were like, I was like 6 or 7, and we were all outside the front, and we were all like fishing. I mean, there's like a little lake and a road that you go around. We were all fishing. And there was this massive light in the sky. I'd say lightning. But these kids vanished, mate. Like, the parents came out and said, have you seen them? We were like, no. We didn't know where they were. And that continues the story because I don't think they ever found their kids. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I thought it was just flashing, like, lightning. And there we are with fishing rods. Some uncle was like, come in, and we, like, ran in. And, nah, I've probably been abducted. Put it down to that. I believe in aliens.
Well, that's concise.
But the thing is, like, if you didn't believe in them, like...
No, like...
Why would they have Area 51? I don't want to touch on it too much, but you know what I mean?
No, yeah. But yeah, obviously, not touching on that one.
Probably best we don't. Probably best we don't go into it, mate. We'll get in trouble. No. We'll get in trouble.
But yeah, I just want to say that I haven't really had an experience like that I can explain or remember. But
have you seen like a star in the sky that's just like changing colour?
Yeah.
Apparently that's burning fuel. Yeah, I look at that weird. I'm like, hang on a minute, it looks like it's like burning red. I need to look into this a bit more. It burns orange and red.
Or you see, what I've been told or watched.
Yeah, those fucking documentaries, honestly. You need to fucking go outside and have a look at the sky, vanish for 4 hours, and then you sat here paranoid as fuck.
But no, like, obviously, off the top of my head, I think it's Sheerness, they have gas fields.
Yeah.
And we was all sitting on the beach, and like, obviously, you see the orangey, reddy, like sort of glow in the distance. And I said to my granddad at the time, I was like, "What's that?" And it was just.
But he looked at you like, "Oh,
it's just the oil rig out in the thing," and I was just like, "Oh wow, okay, that's quite cool." But like, you could see obviously, if everything is true that we've been told, that you can see the light before the sound and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Blah. Then that would, for me, okay, yeah, so they're just like, yeah.
You just fobbed it off, didn't you?
Yeah, it's just like, okay, fair enough.
Fobbed it off, mate. I would never do that. I sat there like staring at it like something's happening. We're gonna die.
But then when we come back, apparently on our way back that day, apparently the oil rig didn't start that morning.
So what the fuck did you
see?
So
what was the light?
Question it. Sit there all day and question it.
What was the light?
Do yourself like a little soundboard and be like, I don't know what this was.
Yeah, I don't know what this was.
Do yourself one of them little cloud things that people do where they put ideas off of it.
Yeah.
Idea cloud.
But obviously back then as a child, I just was like, yeah, whatever.
If you want to move this onto a bit of a ghost thing. Wait, no, actually, no. Do you believe in aliens?
I wouldn't say I believe in aliens.
Okay.
But then I believe there's some stuff that is unexplained, which leads us on to the next bit. But there is some stuff that are unexplained.
You should believe in aliens. You're looking at fucking animals every day, like, that's weird. It's not a humanoid, it's not human. It's an alien. Alien to me.
But I'm more of I believe in the evolution stage more than.
So you believe we originated from apes?
I believe there's some sort of, we've lost the whole story, but not necessarily apes.
Oh, what? What are you going to say?
Well, we don't know. We don't know what was back then. We don't know what creatures have died out.
Chickens exist.
Chickens.
You worry me. You really worry. Do you really believe we evolved from animals?
I believe we evolved from some sort of thing. Not necessarily animals.
Drop a comment. Is he correct? Did we evolve from animals?
By all means.
Can't wait for someone to drop a comment going, no. Just like, no.
Yeah, not just a one-word answer. Like, you've got to explain the reason why apparently got enforced.
So, you believe we're, like, say, like a newt, then evolved into like a lizard, and then a lizard evolved into this and this, and it went on. You believe that one? Not necessarily the monkeys.
Yeah, not necessarily the
monkeys. I look at monkeys, mate, and I'm like, I don't even look like it.
Oh, I don't. You haven't been to London, so you're sitting right there now. Or is he?
Swap places. It was that monkey that travelled for 4 hours and didn't know what happened. Then we swapped places. A bit like time travel.
But no, I do believe in some sort of evolution, not necessarily from apes or from newts or from.
No, but I said newt because newts can evolve into bigger animals.
Yeah.
I won't be a dick and go, oh, you evolve into newts. As I say, you look like a fucking chipmunk.
Chipmunk. You call me fat. No. But no, I believe in that sort of, that evolution stage. I'm more of the science behind it.
Yeah, but even science have kind of got it wrong.
Oh yeah.
You can't look at, like, most people go, oh yeah, monkeys, that's definitely what we evolved from. Because they have fucking movable fucking fingers and toes.
Opposable thumbs.
Yeah, and they think that we evolved from that. Like, there's billions of other animals I'd rather evolve from than a fucking monkey.
Just because you don't like monkeys.
They stink. But no, seriously, like monkeys, really. Dolphins got extra legs. They drop off. I bet dolphins are land animals. That's alien. If we saw a dolphin now, or something similar to a dolphin with like little legs, I'd class that as an alien. But if that's the case then, right?
Yeah.
Gravity's really strong on Earth. So much so that we have bad backs and we get really achy joints. Right? So you think that we can, alright, I believe this, we have adjusted to our solar system, to our life form, right?
Yeah.
But for you to go, we've evolved, we're on the wrong planet if we fucking evolved, mate. As soon as you reach 40, you get a bad back. I'm halfway there.
Yeah, true.
Like, it makes no sense. The planet isn't substantial enough. It's only, like, in my head, I feel like our resources, everything we've got.
Like, so you may think that...
You dare bring up fucking some type of weird incest shit with Adam and Eve, honestly.
No. So you believe that...
I think we were placed here.
We were.
I think we were put here.
Like a certain dying culture sent off, more advanced.
Wouldn't it be funny, right?
It wouldn't surprise me, to be fair.
No, wouldn't it be funny, right? That the people before, the Egyptians, necessarily,
they were the start.
Were placed there. And then they saw what happened and how we could use the resources on this planet. You watch 30 years from now.
Thought, you know what? We're just going to leave. If you want to stay, you can stay, but no, we're just going to leave.
Yeah, they realise that Earth isn't a substantial life form. Fucking hell, I'm way too But there, it's like, oh, okay.
But no, like, I'm open.
You're open?
I'm open.
I think we were put here by some form of weird shit. Because either way, when this Earth is all fucking run out and we've used our resources, they're going to teleport, they're going to fucking send everyone elsewhere. Mars, I think, is a better substantial planet, I think.
Yeah, it's now gone to Mars, and they're even looking at Jupiter for some unknown reason.
So we're going to move planets. So possibly like my children's, once we've used our resources because of global warming, we're going to be moving...
When we finally get that technology.
Mate, allegedly we've got technology to go.
Allegedly.
But you honestly think that we've evolved? I think we've adapted from being put here. I don't say we've evolved from a fucking animal. Alien.
No, true.
Does that make more sense to you now? That if we were put here, because it had substantial life form, we could grow food, there's water.
Yeah, so we're descendants of...
We've been put
We're descendants of descendants of descendants.
And you dare bring up some type of incest shit, I swear to God. Next you're going to find out about 5% DNA of you and me and you, and we're going to be like, oh, that'll work. Although, one thing does, kind of like...
But in some cultures, that's their...
I believe we were put here. But one thing that always intrigues me is people's eye colour. No one's eye colour is the same. No one's. You could say you've got green eyes, you have green eyes, I have green eyes, but they're very different. There's no eye colour which is exact.
Different shades.
Yeah. That
in some certain lights, like my eyes look yellow.
Yeah. I have seen I think it was a woman, she had like proper grey, white, icy blue eyes, but it had no proper blue in it. You just knew it was blue. Technically, like, she's blind. And it creeped me the fuck out. I was like, whoa. And she scared the shit out of me. I was like, oh, that's a weird eye colour. Yeah. It took me by surprise. Yeah. It literally, like, I couldn't take my eyes off of her eyes. I was like, oh, that's weird. And it kind of freaked me out a little bit. Then she vanished in the wall. She didn't really. She got abducted. she vanished and got abducted. She did both. Her family got abducted. She vanished.
She just disappeared.
Yeah. Hid under the basement. But it's kind of that thing. I think we were put here, but I do think there are certain forms of life that we do not understand and will not understand.
I will agree with you on that one. There's things that we do not know.
Fucking finally.
That's what.
Literally open your eyes. We didn't evolve from anything.
I am, but it hurts.
If we evolved from monkeys, we'd die at like 30, 20. I don't know how long a fucking monkey lives for. Either way, we would be dead by now. Oh, let me guess, we've adapted.
But then elephants can live until they're 80 and 90.
So you're saying we've now evolved?
No, I'm just saying. Some animals live longer.
Pick an animal and stick to it. You've picked a monkey.
No, you picked the monkey. You
because
brought the monkey into it.
That's what they fucking said. I don't believe
but
shit.
People say, yes, okay, we evolved from monkeys.
Mate.
But
show me the fucking proof.
We're not evolved.
Show me the proof. Get that monkey in here and show me.
Where did he touch it?
Show me. Fuck you. Show me human DNA that I've got inside that monkey, then show me a fucking banana. I'll look at the both and be like, I'd rather evolve from the banana, thanks.
Yeah, but the monkey's now looking at the thing and I'd rather eat that, and why the fuck am I evolved from that?
Mate.
But with them, yeah. No. But that's a whole different can of worms.
Can of worms? I've already said the earth is flat. The amount of people going, oh, he's a flat earther. It would make sense for the earth to be flat. Prove me wrong. Yeah. You dare say it's fucking round because you saw it in the textbook, I'll be pissed. I'll be like, that textbook's fake. I can Photoshop that and make it look better. I think. I'm not thinking about it. More of a light green. I can just about put a watermark on the picture. But no, seriously.
Okay. Obviously, yeah, leading on to the...
Oh, now we're on ghosties.
Paranormal activity.
Okay. Well, your house is fucking haunted as hell.
It is haunted as hell.
Yeah,
I've definitely experienced that.
But do you believe in them?
I do.
Right, this is where everyone's going to be really weirded out, right? Because I've seen shit I can't explain. I've heard shit I can't explain. I have witnessed weird fucking fucked up shit. Even in these abandoned places, I've heard shit and seen shit, and I'm like, why the fuck does that happen? And afterwards, I'm wrecking my brain.
That happened.
It doesn't scare me, but I'm like, how'd that happen? Right? And a lot of people say my photos look like fucking Silent Hill, which I fucking hate. Right?
At the start, you've got to give me this. At the start, they were very dark. But then, as you said, you were getting used to the colour.
Every abandoned place looks like fucking Silent Hill in the video.
Exactly. Yeah.
No word of a lie. Unless you HDR the shit out of it, make it bright and colourful, like fucking rainbow drops, then no. But I think that, right, I've seen shit, but I don't quite believe the ghost aspect.
That afterlife.
Yeah. Because I've seen shit that I can't explain.
Look at me eye, I can explain that, it hurts.
Right, so I've seen shit that I can't explain, but I know if I wreck my brain long enough, I could probably find a shitty explanation of why it was like that.
Yeah, the light
like I said,
through the window.
I don't believe anything unless I see it, but there's certain things I'm looking at, things like there's no fucking way. Like, it reminds me of this time I went to like this old cottage, right, and it smelled of decay, damp, mould, everything. Went into the bedroom, photographed it, everything was fine. Walked out and I was like, oh shit, I want to photograph this from a different angle. Went back in there, the smell of perfume, mate. I was on my own, I don't wear fucking perfume. Where'd that perfume come from? I was like, this is fucking weird, but it was such a potent smell of perfume.
Strong smell.
Yeah, and I think like, my first ghost experience, should we say?
Yeah, yeah.
I class it as a ghost experience. It needs a category. So, shove it in ghost, right? I was fishing. I was probably about 10. And I was just like, oh, okay, like, fishing. Didn't really enjoy it. Fucking hated it. Sat there in a fucking tent.
Cold, wet, miserable.
My uncle was there, my dad was there. I think I was playing with like some action figures. Didn't have fun. And my dad was like, oh, look at that. And I was like, what's he looking at? And then my uncle was like, I can see that. And I was like, my curiosity got the better of me. I wish I fucking didn't. I didn't sleep. I was scared. I literally came out of that tent, looked, and there was a woman walking across a bridge not far from where we were river fishing, but you could see through her. And my father saw it, my uncle saw it, I saw it, and we were like, I remember looking at my dad going, what's that? Like, I'm 10 years old.
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck that is.
What is it?
I was like, what is it? And he was like, oh, it's a ghost. Like, he said it so fucking calmly. I'm like, what's a ghost? Like, mate, 10 years old, I ask a million questions. All this time I'm transfixed on this woman walking across a bridge where we're fishing, and I'm like,
did you find she vanished?
Mate, she literally walked so far, then it just looked like, faded. It got so far and faded, and then my dad was like, you saw that, didn't you? And I was like, yeah. At this point, and I was like, I didn't know.
Okay. Your mind's trying to think.
There was no fear there, but I was so fucking curious. I was like, what was that? What is this? What am I looking at? I couldn't figure it out.
At that age, it was the fear of the unknown.
Mate, I didn't even know that allegedly ghosts can hurt you, like, or ghosts can haunt you. I'm 10. I'm looking at this woman walking across a bridge. Dare I say she was dressed in white. And it was more of a grey pale, and she just vanished. And it was on Friendship Bridge. And I remember it vaguely because we always used to go swimming there. And like, well, I say swimming, no, I was more thrown in. But like, it was like jump into the river or lake, and that's where you were. And you had a couple of bridges. You had Friendship Bridge, Lovers Lake Bridge. You had all these bridges. And just seeing this woman at night time. I was 10 years old. It was about 7 o'clock at night in winter time. I was frozen, but I could not figure out what I'd just seen. And even afterwards, I was like, did we just see a ghost, Dad? Like, did we just see... He was like, yeah. Yeah, just so fucking calm. And he's an adult. He knows what ghosts do. He's watched movies. He could have got grabbed, thrown into a river. Nothing. Fucking nothing. But I think that was my first one that I knew about. Maybe not so much anything else, but I knew, like, from 10 years old, I saw a ghost. And that's what I classified it as. That is one of these moments that stay in my head a lot, because I remember it so vaguely. And I guess this is where, like, you know, we branched off last time, and I said, like, I believe in vampires and all these old stories, horror stories. Like, I got so obsessed. I told you, it was put in there at a fucking young age, and it ain't left. But I was like, oh shit. Like, even now, when I explain this story to you, I'm like, did I really see that?
Did I see it? Or was I told that I saw it?
No, because there's other people.
I know. But some people do say that if you're told something over a certain amount of time, then
No, I definitely remember. I came home and I literally said to, like, my grandmother, I was like, I saw a ghost, and she was like, don't be stupid. And I was like, Dad said I did. But I didn't know what it was doing. I didn't know what it could do. I mean, I've dabbled with Ouija boards. I've heard shit, smelled shit, seen shit, seen a lot of shit.
That's a lot of shit.
Hey, it's constant full of bullshit, to be honest. But no, it's one of the things where I'm like, I was 10 years old, I saw a woman walk across a bridge, she vanished, she was dressed in white. But her skin, like, even thinking back, her skin matched what she was wearing.
It's very pale, very grey.
And then, like, obviously as I got a little bit older and obsessed with, like, horror in general, like...
I suppose, as you said, you put it into that category of...
But when I told my father, like, I was like, is there any other ghosts around here? Like, mate, I was obsessed. And he was like, yeah, there's like a paper boy. He was like, you often can see him early in the mornings. I'm like, where? Mate, I was obsessed. I snuck out of the house, went there, didn't see nothing. Let down. Let down. But he said that he had seen him countless times. The paper boy that got hit by a car. And I'm like, where? He told me where. I went there, snuck out of the house, mate. I was like 14. Snuck out the house at stupid o'clock just to see his fucking nothing. Let alone that, I had to try and make my way back. Let alone get there. Mate, I had no fucking map. I just got on my bike.
All we could do back there was just get on your bike.
Get on your bike and cycle as hard as you can. But how brave must I have been? Like a 14-year-old kid sneaking out of the house.
To go to someone you didn't really know.
I didn't know anything. Like, in terms of this, like, mate, they used to drag me to coastal towns every weekend. Like, that was the only outside world I'd ever seen. Really. Like, I grew up in, like, as you know, we grew up in a small town. like not much weird shit really happens. And when it does happen, everyone's like, nah, it didn't happen.
Nah, it didn't happen. No, you didn't see nothing.
But we grew up in like we still live in this small town. But at the time,
it's grown a bit. But
yeah, but at the time, like I was 14. Like I probably knew where a couple of parks were. Even then, I'd probably go with a friend. But at 14, I was driven to try and see if I could see another ghost. Never did. I think the next time allegedly, like we'll put it in the category of ghosts.
Yeah.
Right. I think the next time I saw one, I was probably 17, and it was when I literally was like, driving.
Fuck it. I'm not gonna see one.
Yeah.
Just carry on.
I mean, like I gradually lost the horror-esque. I was obsessed with horror films, but I lost research.
You lost that. Yeah. Really in depth.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like collecting books like I was, but I think I was like 17. We were driving back. I think we were driving back from Sevenoaks. I think. Sevenoaks, and this woman stepped out, and we literally went straight through her. And I literally shouted, like I literally like freaked the fuck out. I literally freaked the fuck out. And when we got out of the car, like even my friend at the time, he got out of the car and he was like, "Well, where is she?" He was like, "We fucking hit her." And we were like, "Oh."
Yeah.
At this point, I was like, "Where the fuck?" Like, we looked around the bushes and everything. We thought we actually hit this woman. We didn't. She literally stepped out, boom, straight through the car. And we were like, even in my head, I can't figure that one out. I can't figure that one out. But to me, I'm like, I saw something. Whether I believe I gradually saw it or not, but for people in the car also to see it, you weigh out the pros and cons. If there's more than one person, I mean, like, you're probably going to talk about your fucking haunted house. But,
well,
like, these were my first experiences when I was younger. Like, of seeing, like, some shit I couldn't understand. That I knew of. I mean, I probably saw loads of shit that I didn't know of. But
I would say my first experience where I was backed up by going, yes, that was probably it's probably actually I was in my room with my nan. We'd just finished like watercolours and she'd come upstairs and we'd like watch a DVD or whatever.
So how old were you roughly?
I was hitting about 13, I think. Unlucky for me. And like by this point I'd got into bed and I was like watching a DVD and she'd come up and it was an art DVD anyway. Yeah. So she'd sit on the end of the bed and we'd watch it, and I can remember the room just instantly got really cold. Yeah. And so I pulled my blanket up, like my duvet. I was like, that's cold. And Nan was just like, the radiator's on full pelt, like.
So just one, I think I caught me up with it.
It's a bit warm. And and I said to my nan, I was like, is it me or is it like really cold?
I see that.
And she was like, no, the radiator's on, it's like really hot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's cold.
Yeah.
And like, next minute I know that you just saw this white, like literally smoke. At that time, I smoked, but I wasn't allowed to smoke in my room. And
fucking 13-year-old smoker.
Yes, I know. It was very bad. I was bad. And there was a lot of shit going through. And
a lot of shit, but he stays up with his nan and watches paint DVDs.
Wow. I'm sad to deal with it. But no, like
it couldn't be smoke. It couldn't be smoke.
It's not smoke, but right. At the time I was just like that's what it looked like. Yeah. Just smoke, like just appearing from my wall. Yeah. Straight past me. Nan sort of went like, what's that? And you just saw it vanish out the door. As soon as it got to the light, it disappeared. Right. And I was like, what the bloody hell was that? Yeah. And Nan was like, really wish they didn't walk through while we're watching something. And I'm like, what was that? Yeah. And she was like, oh, there's the so in the block of the 4 houses that I live in, there's an old man. It used to be one big barn, and an old man basically walked through after tragically killing his wife in the one room, walked to the end of the barn and committed suicide out the other side. Right. So you see him walking through. Yeah. And admittedly it's only certain times of the year. And still now it's probably why I'm so acclimatised to the cold.
but you've seen this more than once.
I've seen this more than once. That was my first, because I didn't properly move in with my grandmother until I was 11.
What was running through your mind? Could you explain it?
I couldn't explain it. I was like, we don't smoke upstairs.
Yeah.
Like back then, we didn't smoke upstairs. And to it appear from my wall, it was like,
you were thinking like, what the fuck?
What the hell?
Yeah.
But Nan, again, just pure calm. When I wish I wouldn't do that while I'm trying to watch something.
That's the one thing I learned, that my grandmother was really calm around seeing shit. Like later on, apart from when obviously like she was getting freaked out by it.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of stuff that she was just like, no, it's fine. Like, she just waved it off. Like it's nothing.
It'll be fine. It won't know.
Like, how many fucking ghosts you've seen?
Like, come on.
How many times can you look at something and think, that ain't normal? I'll put that in my notebook and then wait, see it again. Oh, saw him again. You'd have so many fucking lists.
Like, as I said, I was about 13 when I saw my first aspiration.
Yeah.
My first.
Cool, that's a big word.
It is a this time of the morning. But yeah, that was my first apparition. That was my first, not necessarily a whole figure,
right?
But the image, not image, but the feeling of something walking past.
Yeah. Like,
and that's something that I, in my head, look at, like with my life experiences, it was like smoke.
Yeah.
Like just fading out the door, and you're like, okay. I didn't sleep for 3 days, mate. I was waiting for that thing to come back.
Yeah.
But it just wouldn't. It's not. If I'm focused on it, it won't appear.
It's corner of your eye type of shit.
It is the corner of my eye, but then when I turn to focus, it's there.
Yeah.
And you think,
I remember, right? Like,
it's like, I'm just gonna watch back the TV, do what you need to do.
I remember, like, after all like the abandoned shit I'd done, right? Like, I think I was like having a weekend off, and it was something like, I'm not necessarily saying it was timed, but it was weird. And I always believe that certain entities may stay in certain places. I mean, there's probably like, if we had like some type of ghost goggles, like thousands of people have lived before us, millions of people have lived before us. We're bound to walk through every dead person every day if this is the case, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really experience some creepy shit. Like a lot of people have said, like, don't you get scared? Do you see shit? Do you feel it? Do you see stuff move? Right?
See, that's the second bit for me. I felt the emotion.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
this is going to open up something.
Past.
Yeah.
I felt the emotion of someone walking past. Yeah. You know, I was 13. I've walked past loads of people.
Yeah.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, you know when you walk past someone, like
or
the breeze of air, or like the movement. Yeah.
So, like for me, it was more of the feeling, and then the images came.
Okay.
Like for other people, it's more of the image came, and then the feeling.
Then the feeling of fear, dread, scared. Yeah. Right. Yeah. See, I was watching a film. I know what film it was. It was called The Raid. It was Chinese, attacky, martial arts type of film. Go through different blocks. Quite a good film. Sat there, relaxed, popcorn. First time watching it. It was at where was I? Yeah, a friend's house actually. We were sat there, we were just relaxed. I think I was staying there for a couple of nights because we were travelling as well. And we were watching it, and all of a sudden, like, we both turned our heads, and we saw this figure. Like, all the lights were down, but we could see a figure. And there's no way you can explain it from like a street light.
Yeah, you couldn't see any lights.
There's no light, mate. Their living room was like the back of the house.
Pure blackout.
It was the back of the house. And this figure literally went from one end all the way across, and we literally watched it like that. Like, but we both didn't say anything until it had vanished, and we both looked at each other and went, "What?"
Yeah.
Like we both, like he looked at me, I looked at him, and we were like,
"Did you? Yeah.
What,
okay.
What was?
Yeah.
It was like, did you just see that? I was like, yeah. I was like, what the fuck was it? I was like, I don't know. And like at this point, I was like, what the fuck was that? Like a black silhouette of a figure moves, and we clock it watch it, and then we had like literally a minute delay before we both decided to go. Did you see what I just? Did we just? Did we believe we saw that? Like it was like, this is weird. But I suppose like I'd already experienced some scary shit, so I was like perfectly calm. And I remember like I was sleeping on one sofa, he slept on the other, and we heard this noise, and he literally went to go outside and check what it was. I was like, make me die. Make me die. Go on, send me out there and see what that creepy noise was after we saw that black shadow. I was like, you're a dick. So I opened the back door and I was looking, I was like, there's nothing. Close the back door, I was like, no, I'm going to sleep now. But all night, I couldn't think. It was the fact that I looked that way and he must have looked at the same time. And I saw his head here, and we literally just, and we couldn't, even now I'm thinking like, did I? No, we definitely saw it because we had a massive discussion about what it could be. And I literally said it couldn't be a street light, couldn't be an animal, couldn't be anything else that would move that way. But it literally went from one end across the TV and out the wall. And we were like, what? I guess that would have been like a more, I don't know, a more scientific approach to a ghost of what we saw, rather than like smells.
Yeah.
Rather than anything else.
It was more visual.
You touched on like emotion. Did you feel anger? Sadness?
No, I felt cold before the happening, but then it's very. I felt calm.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because obviously Nan didn't freak out.
Imagine if your Nan jumped up and ran out the room. You'd be like, Nan, help! Like literally, like, what the fuck?
Like it would have been a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
But I think but it's weird because I felt calm.
Yeah.
And you know, I see it every now and then.
Yeah.
Like less and less as I seem to grow up.
Yeah. Maybe you're not awakening to, because you have to be slightly in tune with certain.
Oh yeah, no.
Frequencies or vibrations. I'm not getting into this.
Yes. No, I know what you. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Certain vibrations, certain tunes. If your heart or something else vibrates at a different frequency, I swear mine fucking does. But you can kind of see shit that ain't there. You can kind of feel shit that ain't there.
Yeah.
And I've noticed this with a lot of abandoned places. Like when I've gone into them, like my mood's fine. Sometimes I'm solely driven on documenting that place.
That you don't really.
But I went to.
You don't really go into a building and go, I feel calm in this place.
Yeah,
I feel.
You have like
you think,
when
I need to get in. I need to.
When I started, the adrenaline of sneaking into an abandoned building like a mansion or like an asylum, you run around, you're like, yeah, this is so cool. Your adrenaline, your heart's going, you hear a noise, you're like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Now, calm, collected. I know the noises. I know what to listen for. I mean, it's 11, 12 years.
Yeah.
Right. It's bound to. Everyone else.
It's bound to learn something. Yeah.
Everyone else that goes in, they're like, oh, this is really cool. It's an abandoned house. Get over it. You're fine. What was that noise? It's fine. It's water dripping. Like I've already sussed all the like possibilities.
Yeah. The cracks and the cracks. And
but the emotion that I have felt in certain places, I can't remember what it was. I think Brian went there. Brian went to this tower thing. I can't remember where it was.
Was it the water tower?
No. This was just a tower in the middle of nowhere. It's a shame we can't view it. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was a tower, and people had committed suicide there.
I swear it's a water tower.
It's not a water tower. It looks like a fucking castle. But
okay,
we went there at night time.
Like a folly or something.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. We went there at night time, and my emotion changed. I didn't go from, oh, I've got to document this like in such a high fashion. It went from sad, angry, suicidal. When I left, I was fine. But other people had been there
and felt those emotions.
Yeah, other people went there. Like one person, like he was climbing up into the castle bit. I mean, like you can hear a tractor, and it's night time. You can hear this shit, and there's nothing there. People have literally hung themselves in this place. And you're like, wow, like there's flowers. When we arrived at night time, there was flowers on the floor. I had no history backlog of this place. We literally just done it because we were local to it. And we snuck into like this folly of a camel. I don't know whether you saw it on my Instagram. There's a camel, but it's not far from that. So we were like, oh, it's 20 minutes. We'll get there. It'll be night time, but you know, I like paint it up. When I got there, my emotions changed. And that was possibly the third time that my emotions changed. But all the time I was there, I was like, I wonder if I can jump right from the top to the very bottom and survive it. I was feeling that heavy emotion that something was there And my emotions changed when I went to Texas. When we went into the, I think it was like the asylum hospital.
Yeah.
My emotions changed in there. I was fine walking around. Like me and Jordan, we climbed up on the roof. We stood up on the roof. Like, it was great. We had free roam. Like, we paid for the experience.
Felt that you just wanted to get closer to that.
It was.
Or was it?
It was standing on the edge, and then like it was like, okay, carry on documenting. Like, move away from the edge. The temptation was there. I mean, it looked cool.
Yeah.
But we came off. We went down, and Jordan went into one room. I went into like the children's ward, and my emotions triggered. They didn't go from, Matt, this place is haunted. Like, allegedly, like Ghost Adventures went there as well. But my emotions went from, I have to document this, it looks amazing, to, I'm fucking pissed off. Like, my anger was coming out, and I was like, why? I'm in like the craziest asylum.
What's going on? Like, why am I so angry?
Yeah, I was in this, I had to step outside. I literally had to step outside and compose myself, because I got angry at Jordan. Like, Jordan moved, and I went, get out my fucking way, you prick. And he was like, what? Like, he was like, whoa, dude, like, settle down. I was like, I want to get his fucking shot. And he was like, are you alright? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't feel right. I had to go outside, but I'd been in that place all day, and it weren't until nothing.
It wasn't until you went
till evening hit, and we were in the children's ward, that I felt something. It felt like something was heavy on me. And I got out of there, composed myself, came back, and I didn't bother photographing the rest, and I was fine. Like, I didn't photograph the rest of the children's room. I literally just left. And I'm trying to remember the name of the hospital. I fucking can't. But, like, you say, like, you felt emotion. You felt something was coming.
I just felt, as I said, I felt calm.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't know if it's because, obviously, it's the amount of times that it's happened.
Yeah.
That now I don't really feel that emotion anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
and it's more of like, oh, okay.
I think my adrenaline of getting into these places left after about a year. You still have the excitement of what you might see.
Yeah. You still have that excitement of getting in, and you're like, okay, I'm in. Right, okay.
Maybe not so much that bit, actually. Like, I get in early, so no one sees me.
Yeah.
And then I wait for sunrise, and then I photograph. Then I begin. Then I leave, but all the time I'm in there, it feels like I'm trapped. But very rarely does a place hit me with such strong emotion that I have to back out and go outside for a bit, because that's wasting time.
Yeah, and it's wasting time, it's increasing the chance that someone might see.
It's literally like disconnecting. But I think because of this asylum, I literally was like, why is it?
I need to, yeah.
Yeah, I literally had to leave. And I was like, that's never happened other than that tower, where I felt like I wanted to die. Like, it's crazy. And yet we never saw anything. We heard noises, maybe bushes moving, but it's night time, it could be an animal. Like I said, you weigh up what it could be.
What it could be too, yeah.
But that emotion when I got home, like even now when I looked at the pictures, like I think I only put one picture up on like that I ever posted.
Yeah, I vaguely remember. It's only you only had one. I think it was two shots that you had.
But
from
one
the
night
thing,
time,
but it was a wide.
Yeah,
and that was it.
But it was like, what do I do? Like, do I carry on photographing? Do I step away? Do I move? But like I said to you, like in our previous.
Did you have the feeling to leave?
Mate,
that you was pushed out.
I had to go.
Like made to leave.
I had to go. I was getting pissed off with my camera, pissed off with like noises, but Jordan didn't feel any of this. And I thought, well, why? Like, we knew the history of it. I mean, like, we got shown around beforehand. We knew the history. Certain bits I related to, but I was like, what the fuck?
But yeah, you wouldn't have those such strong emotions.
No, this was
from
literally
what you've been told, if you know what I mean.
It went from feeling happy, and it quickly just vanished. And it felt like something had just sucked it all out of me, and that was it. It was gone. And then instantly I was left with anger, hate. I wanted to get out of there. And it's only happened a few times, but when that specific time, and that suicide tower time, like, I wanted to jump off. I wanted to hurt myself, and I thought that was incredibly weird. And I was like, am I easy pickings for certain entities.
Some aspects.
Do I feel certain things? This is why when you said
are you more sympathetic to certain things?
But quite frankly, I couldn't give a shit. Like, the history on the place is for me only. I'm not going to share it because then it makes the place, people can find it.
Yeah.
But
as we touched on last time,
but it's more of a, I wanted to go and document it, leave.
Yeah.
But all the time it was free roam. We were allowed to stay in there. We were allowed to do what we wanted.
You had chance to relax. You had
Yorktown Memorial Hospital. That was it. It just clocked in my head. Yorktown Memorial Hospital in Texas somewhere. Yorktown, Texas. Like, it hit me, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, even Jordan couldn't work it out. He was like, what's wrong? I was like, I need to get out. I went outside, had a cigarette, looked around, and looking around felt very alien despite me being there all day. I felt like something had taken over me for that brief period of time, and then when I went outside, it was gone. And when I went back in,
like, okay, here's the exit.
And when I went back in, I was like, okay. I looked at the children's ward, took some pictures from the door, but didn't walk in there. I wanted to leave that bit. But then, as I think we got there about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we got shown around for like maybe an hour. She told us what rooms we could go in, couldn't go in, but we went in them anyway. Said some rooms were dangerous, told us stories about what had happened there, like whether the bodies had been found, like the priest slept in the morgue. Down in, like, obviously you're in America. Yeah. Heat. They have the morgue downstairs, like basement wise.
So it's the coolest.
Right? But the priest slept down there and his room was filled with like fucking dresses. They hadn't changed anything. Like, they preserved the place. You literally pay to go in. She shows you around. She stays there, but because we UK people, she's like, oh my god, this is incredible. I can't believe you guys have come like this far to do this place. We're like, yeah. And we're like, well, here's the key, here's the padlock. Just lock up when you go. And she showed us around. And she told us the stories and, like I said, the bodies.
You had the official tour.
Yeah. And it wasn't until the evening that things got weird. I mean, obviously, Urban Explorers will try and get into this. I'll probably advertised it for more Urban Explorers to try, but please don't, like, pay for it. Seriously, it's worth it. But obviously, people had smashed the place up. People had been breaking in anyway. But when we were down, I think it was on the lower level, that's where the children's ward is. So as you walk in, right is the children's part, a maternity unit. Yeah. You carry on going straight down, leads you to a kitchen. But like, when we were all down there, we were hearing weird shit. We were like, what the fuck is that? And then, like, Jordan was like, oh, it could be people who have got in from the back door and gone up the stairs. And we were just like, oh, okay. And we were just like, after a while, mate, I think we all just decided to call it quits because you're in America, mate. Yeah. You could get shot any second by anyone. So we were like, get our shots. We've done the place. We've explored it. Let's leave. Yeah. But I was happy to leave. I was like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah. I'm happy to leave.
I've got at least what I've
I mean, from 1 o'clock to about 9 o'clock at night, mate. It's a long time to be breathing in asbestos.
Yeah, oh yes.
But, like you said, like, feelings, emotions, sometimes it hits.
Oh yeah, it does. This is...
Whether they're taking you over, I don't know.
I don't know. But saying that feeling of dread and just wanting to get out, not necessarily that you're scared and you want to leave, it's being made to leave. Yeah. And when I used to live in Waterbury, which is not...
that's a posh place.
It's a posh place. It's basically, posh name.
There's a really cool industrial abandoned place down there, but it's full of mercury and you're risking your life if you go in.
You are indeed.
It's the Fruit Research Lab. Yep. I don't know whether it's got taken down. It probably has.
It's been taken down.
Because they didn't know whether they could redevelop on top of it because of the mercury. But
mercury. Yeah, I know what you mean. I have been there.
Ditton Research Lab. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, it's just a word. I know what you mean.
Loads of apples.
Yeah, it has been demolished, and they have managed to take away the mercury, as far as I'm aware.
Wouldn't surprise me. It was pretty heavy.
So we, as I said, when I used to live there, it's a very small community. It's surrounded by fields, you know, it's surrounded by old barns and God knows else what. But we, you know, we didn't break it and we didn't think it was an orchard. Like, the farmer didn't like you walking through it.
Didn't go scrumping though?
Nope.
It's sent every bloody week.
Only in certain fields that I knew that, you know, the farmer...
Scrumping, go get some potatoes and carrots.
Well, the thing is, like, we used to do it at, down the bottom, and you can take as much as you want as long as you filled up a bucket. You know, you do some of his job, and you can take what you want, which is, I think, is a very...
Did you experience anything creepy there?
I did.
What?
Obviously,
what was it?
We'd worked there through the day, and I'd gone back with a few friends at night. And all we was doing was getting across the field, so just walking through it.
Yeah.
And I literally got in. I knew where it was. I knew that we wouldn't be told to leave or caught or whatever or told off. But as soon as we got into the middle of the orchard, where it kind of opened up a bit, I just wanted to leave. I just wanted to get out. I didn't want to be there.
To leave.
And I wasn't the only one that felt it. We all knew the farmer, so, you know, we weren't going to get caught. We weren't going to get told off. The worst that could happen is the big fucking dog come chasing us from the bloody thing. But we knew that was there. Yeah. So there was nothing saying get out. But that feeling in the middle, once it opened up, I literally looked at my thing and I was like, we got to go. I can't keep going straight. I need to go off. And he was like, so do I just need to get away. And it was
that
pure
feeling coming back.
It was that dark feeling of just get out. And it was like, so it was like, okay, I know over there is another field that leads on to the back of my house. Yeah. So I was like, fuck it, I'm heading that way. Yeah, I'm heading that way. And we got to the edge of the field and I was like, what the? So what? Why are we here? Yeah. Like,
did you end up back where you were to some extent?
Yeah, we pretty much did a U-turn.
Right. Okay.
Even though it was purely lit. Yeah. Like, I knew my house was. I could see my house, but yet we still ended up back at the gate where you could climb over.
So you were like,
and you're like, what the heck?
Was it late?
It was late-ish.
You could have got disorientated.
It was twilight. It was twilight.
You could have got disorientated.
I could have done.
No vampires, twilight, we're good.
No. No. Yeah. But no, it was like, but why are we back here? Yeah. So obviously we then climbed over the fence and walked around the proper way. Yeah. But it was just like,
how did you end back?
How did we get back to the gate? Like, that's a pure U-turn. But we were walking straight. Like, half of us went that way, half of us turned left, half of us turned right, but we all managed to get back at the gate.
You're like, oh, we're back here.
And you're like, oh.
Something you can't explain. You're just like, we went here, we cut through, we come back, we're like, how? We're meant to go that way.
What's going on? What? Yeah. And then obviously we just went over the gate and walked off. But when I talked to my stepdad, and obviously my mum, I'm like, there's nothing, you shouldn't be in the orchard anyway, but...
Yeah, no, seriously.
No. So creepy. Like the thing, but when I was talking to, sadly he's not here anymore, but we called him Uncle John. Yeah. When I was talking to him about it, he said, "Oh yeah, there's a group of lads. Basically, one couldn't swim and they fell into the lake, into the pond thing at the bottom, and drowned and died. So if you walk through there certain times of night, he comes up and goes, get out."
It's weird, isn't it?
Warning you kind of thing, but
weird, isn't it? At certain times, certain dates.
But you know, I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of what exact date and time it was. But
there was this thing that I read online that if you look through like a church keyhole, a certain time of the year, you can see all the people that have died that year. And I've never got the courage to do it. Like, despite me knowing it's fake to an extent. I have this horrible image. I'm going to look and just see people walking. Because it seems to attract. There's something that I'm drawn to, whether it be the darker side of life or afterlife or something else. It's like if you see like a car crash, like most people won't look at it, but guaranteed your mind is like attracted to the darker side. So you will look to see if anyone's died.
Or you're sort of like turn your head just to
just
to see what's going on.
What's this way? So like literally, like we're looking like to me, I want to look through this keyhole, but I just know it's just got to be like, oh, this ain't gonna be good.
Yeah,
and your smoke has got in my eye.
Yeah, that's done it. I was trying to get it this way, but
but yeah, like, do you look through? Would you personally look through that keyhole and go, yes?
I would want to look through it.
Right. Okay.
But if I was there, I wouldn't know what I would do. I wouldn't know unless I'd actually go and do it.
It's fucking bothered my eyes so bad. I'm crying. But yeah, like.
Why is it my smoke?
Oh, so it's just poked me in the eye. It's a ghost. But yeah, like, I read that and I was like, wow, that's really stinging. Probably more than that shit on the table we're about to.
No, probably. Even though you want to sneeze.
It's both, mate. It's both. But yeah, we just.
I don't know. It is hard. I would happily sit here and say I would go to that church.
Okay. It's any
whether
church.
Whether I look through it or not.
It's any church. You look through the keyhole at a certain time at night, a certain time of the year. You apparently see the dead of that year. I'm like, it's heavy.
But I would say I would happily go there.
Right. You'd go there, but
I would go there, but whether I would look through is a different matter.
Yeah.
Like it would have to be like if who I was there with. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Me.
I wouldn't be able to do it on my own.
Me. I'll be encouraging you. You look first. You'd look and see nothing. I'd look and see everything.
Yeah.
You watch. I'll be like, oh mate, I've just seen some crazy shit.
What?
But it is like that feeling, the feeling of dread. Feeling something bad's gonna happen. Like, will it happen? Can it happen? Is it gonna happen? Like, the afterlife probably is relevant. It is here. It is everywhere.
But I would say, yeah, as you said before, only certain people are attuned to it.
Yeah.
Or even open to it.
I mean,
like, you ask some people and they just write it off straight away.
I would happily write it off until proof is sat here with me. Then I'll be like, yeah, I saw shit. Even though I've seen shit and other people have seen shit, like, looking at it, thinking back on it, even talking about it, right now, I'm like, did I really? Did I really see this shit? Did it happen? Is it meant to happen? Were you meant to see that shit? Before my grandmother passed away, like, she saw some crazy shit. Saw shit that she got scared of. And, like, I came in, like, my father came in, we were like, what is it? And she was like, he's here again. Black figure moving on scene, I'm like, fuck. Like, I saw it, mate. I saw the movement. And she was like, my dad saw it, and she was like, he won't leave me alone. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, please.
I remember calling an ambulance for her. And this is probably the closest I've got to paranormal shit over the last couple of years. Other than that feeling, I guess, that you get in abandoned places. You pick up on something, you pick up on things. I think everyone can do that. If they're open to it, maybe. But I was calling an ambulance for my grandmother, and she was like, don't call them, I'm fine, you know. She needed blood transfusion, like, she had a lot going on. And she just laid there, and she was like, oh, I'm so itchy, it feels like something's all over my skin. And I'm on the phone to, like, a fucking ambulance. I forget her date of birth, and I'm like, what's your date of birth? She was like, 1930. I was like, oh yeah, 30th of May, 1930. And I looked up, and this black figure just laid next to her. And I was like, I'm literally on the phone. What? I carry on talking, and like literally, like this black figure. Then she like quickly got out of bed. Like it's the quickest I've ever seen her move. She was like, something touched me. I'm like, yeah. And I handed over my address, ended the call, and I looked at her. I was like, do you want to come downstairs and get your stuff together? The ambulance is coming. She was like, I suppose I have to, but that black figure laying next to her. I was like, what the fuck?
What is it?
What was that? Why was it there? Why did she see it? How did she see it? I mean, there was another time where, like, she said she was going to bed and I was walking up the stairs and, like, I followed her up there. She didn't know whether I was behind her or I was still downstairs. But it was crazy because she went into her bedroom, she opened the door and she went, if you're trying to scare me, don't. And I was walking up the stairs behind her, I was like, who the fuck are you talking to? I was like, it's only me and you. And she went, oh, you're there. I thought you were... And I was like, what? And I literally poked my head around, there was a black silhouette of a man. I said it was a man,
broad shoulders,
quite tall, and it just stood there in that corner, next to her wardrobe. She went, I thought you were trying to scare me. I was like, what's that? What is that? Why am I seeing it? And she was like, what? He's gone now. And I was like, fuck, within a blink, gone.
What?
Yeah, he'd gone. But I was like, she spoke to that shit, and I saw that shit. What the fuck was it? I can't explain it. No. I don't want to explain it. I just know that there is entities, there's things, yet again, like aliens, we don't have the knowledge of, we don't see them, we don't have the knowledge of it, but something is there. We see something, we've experienced it, we've either...
in some form or another.
There's no book on this shit, and if it is, it's labelled Ghost Aliens. And you're like...
yeah, but someone will ruin it and put verses in between it.
Take out the ghosts. Call it something paranormal. Call it something else, because something else is among us. Whether it be aliens, ghosts, or whatever, but it's there.
It's there.
It's there.
We don't know what it is. We don't know who it is. We don't.
No one can explain this shit. No one can. No. Like the beginning of life. No one can explain it.
I don't think any of us can explain it.
No. Even what happens after you die, no one can explain it.
No.
No one. And even if they could, they probably wouldn't fucking tell you anyway.
No, you think I'm weird.
I bet there's someone out there that knows this weird shit.
Well, there's, as you said, there's people out there that, you know, that the normal modern day people would, like everybody would go, you think, oh, they're a bit weird.
Yeah.
But then
I often find
they're talking differently, they're thinking differently.
I find
they're more in tune, maybe.
Whether people want to agree with me or not, I find the more weirder the person, the more in tune they are to what's going on around us.
No, I would agree.
I often think they lock people up because they know too much. They throw them in insane asylums or whatever you want to call them. They try and rehabilitate
just
them.
because people are trying to tell you maybe what they've experienced.
Yeah. I reckon some people that are so far out there know more and have experienced more than what we dare to cope, so they just brush them under the rug. They move shit. I'm weird, you're weird, I'm a lot weirder than you. I'm pretty sure eventually they're going to shove me into an asylum and I'll happily sit there.
In some definitions, everybody's weird.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that
some are more in tune with certain aspects and certain desires and certain things.
I mean, I used to have this ability where I could connect to people. And it happened with a few people, but like certain things I can pick up on. And when I tell that stranger something about them, they get creeped the fuck out. They look at you and like, what?
Is that how it is?
I think the most occurring ones recently, I told someone about like, you know, something. Like, I say recently, you know, but well, probably years ago. But it's the most recent occurrence.
It's the most recent.
Yeah, I mean, I told someone about their mother and some other little bits, and they were like, how the fuck do you know this shit? And I was like, I don't know. Something told me to say, hey, look, I know this. Hey, look, I'm connected to you. Like, I used to be able to, I think they called it like, they called it something. I guess it's kind of like psychopathic for
psychopathic something.
But it was
or so like a psychopathic.
I like to call it
connection.
Yeah, remote viewing. If you connect to someone, you can view them from a bird's eye view and see what they're doing.
You feel like you're watching
someone. And certain things in your head, it's like you're watching a film. And I used to be able to connect to certain people that way. I mean, there was one person I could connect with, and I'd message them going, don't buy that, and they're like, what? I'm like, seriously, don't buy it. And they're like, how do you know I picked it up? I'm like, because the colour don't suit you and the t-shirt's horrible. And I message back going, what the fuck, where are you? I'm like, just popped in there. Bit weird. Bit weird. Someone just struck in there for a bit. But it was like I mean, like
I've got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoke to clairvoyance. I used to do spiritualism and stuff. Some shit they knew baffled me. I can't explain it. They draw like they called it a psychic artist, and like every week they used to do is clairvoyancy at the spiritualist church. I thought, oh god, See what it's like. See how funny it could be. And we literally, like, I'd sit in there, mate, I was the youngest guy in there. Everyone else was, like, old, wanting to talk to, like, their loved ones. But there'd one person be talking, the other person be painting. And he wouldn't have his back, or he'd have his back to us. And he'd be painting whatever, and he'd start painting before this woman starts talking or asking questions. And then literally it would be, that painting is the exact picture, dare I say, of that loved one. And the amount of women that would cry, or like gentlemen that would cry, because that is what they look like. That's who they somehow connect. How can you explain that? That painter didn't speak to any of them.
No.
And he drew it. No, he didn't know anything. They don't know anything. They travelled far and wide. And he drew a loved one that had passed away, and he proved it. He pulled out his like little wallet, he opened it up and showed the married couple picture that he had. Exactly the same. He weren't like a stooge. He goes there every week. He weren't like put in there as a plant.
Yeah, it's just like,
just
hand me this
he
picture.
was baffled because no one had connected to him. Every Friday a different clairvoyant from all around the UK would come in, speak to him. You couldn't fucking explain that shit. Even I sat there going, what the fuck?
Wow.
Yeah, I was like,
okay.
Wow.
Have I just experienced this kind of thing? Like?
Yeah, but everyone was like, did that actually happen? And like the artist would draw like 3 or 4 people, and by the end of it, he'd have to sit down. He said all his energy had gone. Yeah, it sucked him completely out of energy. But this woman, I think it was his wife, like, she would ask questions, and instantly, like, he'd be painting before the questions, and you'd be like, what's he painting? Like, you'd be so focused on that, you wouldn't be listening to what she's asking, you know? She'd be like, is anyone, like, you know, she'd ask questions, personal questions that people may connect to. It weren't like, has anyone died recently? It weren't like that. It was like,
it was just like,
it was pinpointed.
Does anyone have something?
It weren't necessarily that, because you could say, oh, does anyone have anything that someone's got that passed away? It weren't nothing like that. It was pinpoint accuracy.
Does does someone have like a memory of a silver brooch?
It was something
that was always
take
on
away,
a side.
take away that brooch, and that's how accurate it was. Because anyone could have a silver brooch. This was pure accuracy, and that's what freaked me out. But then that's what made me keep going back. What are you gonna find now? Like, what is this?
Like,
what could you?
Maybe they would bring something.
They connected to me twice, and they couldn't quite get it. They couldn't quite gather it. But apparently, I was closed off. Apparently, I kept my arms crossed like that, and that's closing my energy off, which they needed to drive what they were picking up on. But it was like a little girl, and apparently, a little girl follows me. Apparently, she finds me funny. Apparently, she's always with me. I'm like, where the fuck does this little girl come from? Where did she come from? Apparently I have like a little girl, I have someone that worries over me, I have this other person. I'm like, where have I been? I know my family tree. It's like, little girl? Like, I haven't lost a child, can't be related to me, like, can't be a sister. Well, it could be. But no, like, I literally went through, I was like, how? How do I have these entities that follow me?
Yeah. How have I gathered them?
Like, would you ever go to a clairvoyant and pick up on anything, or?
I've never been, to be fair myself.
But would you go?
But I would happily go
and see what they connect with. It's weird.
Like, I'm open.
I think I went there for about.
I'm more open than other people might be.
I went there for about 3 years. I thought it was a load of shit. Until I think after my second time I went, I was like, hang on. There was one guy who had really long fingernails, he creeped me out. Long fingernails and pink socks. Bright pink socks. And like slip-on loafer style, like slipper shoes. Yeah. And he just walked in and he was like, hello, Shane. I was like, whoa. I was like, no one spoke to him. Because we'd all get there, we'd set up the tables, we'd set up the chairs. The clairvoyant would come in, like I said, they travel all around the world. And he walked in, he was like, hello, Shane. And just walked past me, and I was like, what? I was like, how's he know my name? Spoke to the guy that runs the church. Did you tell him my name? No. Like, they wanted it as
detached as
yeah,
possible.
they never said, oh, this guy called Shane turns up and helps with the chairs before, like, anything else.
Yeah, he always sits down first.
Yeah. Never said anything. And the thing is, the clairvoyant apparently sits in the car and just waits and clears his energy.
Sort of like meditate.
Yeah, gets into the zone.
Yeah.
And he comes in like half hour through like the actual service. No one's gonna say my name during that fucking service. I can tell it because it's all like dare I say, there is a bit of praying involved. But for them to connect and for that guy to know my name, that has always stood out. Like,
it's more of that. I would say that the praying kind of thing is opening everyone up.
Yeah, opening everyone's chakras. Basically, it's like, dare I say, you prayed to like be thankful for animals and.
Yeah, it's not like we're saying do this, do that.
No. It was like
our experiences. That's all it is.
It literally, they literally said, they were like, if you believe in God, so be it. If you believe in this, so be it. We welcome everyone.
Yeah.
And it was close our hands together, close our eyes, and just think of what we're thankful for. It wasn't like an actual like, we're shoving Christianity down your throat kind of place.
Or Buddhism.
You just needed to close your eyes and just be like, well, I'm glad like I have a family. Like, you know,
I'm loved.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah,
like,
they never forced anything on you, and that is what I found weird. Like, it probably sounds like a right old cult right now, but it wasn't. It was just so.
I've had the kind of experience with not really knowing what it is. Like, I wouldn't know it was a clairvoyant. I wouldn't know it was that kind of spiritualist thing. But I have, you know, I used to be into like the kind of thing was just like getting my anger away, like take myself off, sit down, close my eyes, and just think.
Just meditate in some form.
Empty your head, and then I'd be like, okay, now I'm ready to challenge whatever challenge, like face whatever challenge.
It's always good to clear yourself and then start necessarily again.
Yeah.
Like, you have a hard day, you come home, you clear your energy.
Right.
Don't bring that shit home.
No, leave it at the door.
Yeah, literally just walk in, be you. But that's pretty much what it was. You'd walk in, relax yourself, calm yourself. And like, when I introduced this clairvoyant, he just walked in, and I think like I was putting my coat up. Like, I think I had it on. I was like, fucking this coat's like hot. It's getting hot in here. They had candles on. They had like a little prayer book, and it was just people that he wanted to help heal, right? And they said, there's a prayer book over there. You know, you put your name in it, and we'll give some energy to them. That's the type of place it was.
Yeah.
And I remember I put my coat up, and as I put my coat up, the door opened. He looked at me with a pillow shame, and just walked straight to the front and began the session. I was like, whoa. I was like, this shit's nuts. This guy's on par. This guy knows his shit. Yeah. Creepy as fuck. Remind me of someone like Harry Potter. Like something so
sort of that I know things that maybe you don't want to tell.
Yeah, and like he said shit, and I literally was looking at him like, what the fuck? Yeah, I was like, this guy is weird. How? Yeah, and the thing is, while you're there, and this is one thing that I think that anyone could ever experience. While you're there, you're figuring out how that person's doing that shit, and who the fuck is he? Yeah, you're paying attention to everything. And it weren't until, like I said, he said things that related to me, and he was like, oh, maybe I'm picking up on the wrong energy. Maybe this person isn't in the room. And I clocked the last bit he said, and I was like, so that would be me. And he went, I gathered it was. And I was like, what? Like, what the hell? And he said things that no one else knew. And he couldn't know. And I'm like, is he picking up on the vibration of my voice? Is he like... They work on frequencies. They work on vibration. But for someone to be so in tune and get little bits of information from me that no one else in that room knows, that I wouldn't tell anyone.
No.
And for this clairvoyant to fucking stroll in, say my name, wear his pink socks and long fingernails and fucking suss me out, mate, he was fucking weird. I'd love to meet him again though. Just to see what else he could tell me. Yeah, see what little enlightenment he can give me. Yeah.
I wonder.
And I guess that's the ghost thing. Like, do you wonder? Do you see it? Do you believe it?
Are you in, as you said,
I mean,
are you in tune?
You can clearly say you're a believer of ghosts because you've seen it.
Whereas I've seen it on numerous occasions.
Yeah, and it's been so consistent for you because you're in a fucking haunted house.
Well, not necessarily. Like, I've obviously I sat down to my nan and I sat down to my granddad and everything. I was just like, has anybody think? Oh yeah, we've seen it. But the thing is the whole family have seen something.
And the thing is, like, I kind of know this is to some extent true because that whole area houses is haunted as fuck. Like, everyone that's ever lived there said it's haunted. Like even before, I've known you since you were 6. There was a family on your left-hand side of that house that moved, that my grandmother knew, that would say hello to him every day because they lived opposite Liz. So they would know that, and even Liz would say they're haunted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck.
It's like everyone, the thing is, everyone in that block knows
something. Yeah, something don't fit right with them houses either. You look at them, they're proper dark, mate.
And they're all pushed back.
Yeah, they're all pushed further back. This house is built on a pig farm. Most we're gonna
can't get no sleep.
Most we're gonna get some haunted scratching.
No,
that's what I mean. Drop 2 jokes in one. Come on, lads. Come on, lads. But yeah, them whole houses, mate, they're creepy.
It's very weird, but
I think summoning like this, like to summon in your head what you're thinking in terms of ghosts. Most people think standard black and white shadowy figure, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that is the case. But you can also like experience other things.
Yeah, like the
emotion, like the impact afterwards. Some people can see shit and they're not right. Afterwards, they're like, no, that's weird.
No, I think it sends them off.
When you come close to death, also, like I've come close to death. When you come close to it, you're more in tune, dare I say, to other planes.
Yeah,
I say you got
I would say that was true.
I say you have the living plane,
then you have the in between bit.
Yeah, and you can see things like I said.
It's like as I said, some things overlap sometimes.
Yeah,
and you know you're walking down a road that you've never visited.
Yeah,
like and you walk down, but you know exactly where to go and how to get there. You've
like
never done any research. Yeah, you've never done any research. You've never done anything.
I've gone into abandoned places, and I don't mean ones that I've researched and travelled to. I mean ones like we've been driving and it's all spontaneous. Yeah. Check it out. Let's go in. I've walked in there, and everything seems familiar. And I'm like, wow. And I remember
walking into this room, this bedroom. How did you know it was a bedroom?
Yeah, I remember one of my followers said one day, like when I used Instagram as like a pure thing to boost my photography.
Yeah.
One of my followers said that it seems like I've always been to these places to capture it a certain way. Yeah, to capture it a certain way. And they happened to leave this comment underneath one picture, and it was the one picture that I'd never researched at the time. Like I'd uploaded, I think I just very started Instagram, and uploaded this one picture, and like there's that comment. It seems to me like you've been here before, like in terms of how I photographed it, what I've zoned in on, and that is the one place that I can remember off the top of my head without going through the thousands of abandoned places that I can go. Shit, like I've never been there, but I felt that. This is the bedroom. Here, like I know what I might find here, and it kind of happened that way. Like it was like I walk into a bedroom and there was like some clothes hanging up, but I knew what colour they were. I was like, whoa, like this is.
It is that.
It was deja vu.
And you say obviously you've been, as you said, close to death.
Yeah.
I also have been for a whole different reason.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like dentists. But yeah, I was medically I was dead. They gave me the they gave me an injection.
Yeah.
Which obviously
adrenaline.
I think adrenaline to bring me back.
Yeah.
Basically, and it just but then that was before I saw my first aspiration. And it was just like...
Let us know. If you've been close to death or you have technically medically died and you've seen shit afterwards.
More stuff.
Yeah, you've seen stuff and things don't make sense. Because
it would be... interesting to find out if it is because people have been close
they're on
to
a different vibration
and they've been phased out, maybe.
Yeah, I mean...
Or a different phase that have overlapped quite, because you've been brought back.
Yeah, I mean mentally I'm not scared of death.
No.
I look at it, I think, okay, it happens to everyone. I've learned to accept it, we all turn to dust, it doesn't matter what we have.
Unfortunately, I'm on the same length.
It's like, literally we're a timeline, we then go to ashes, we then can blossom.
life is not finite.
Yeah, we can then blossom into flowers if
infinite. It's finite.
Yeah,
there is a point when we are not on this anymore.
And death doesn't scare me, but the one time it did was when my grandmother grabbed my hand and she said she don't want to die, and she had the fear of literally death in her eyes, right? And it stayed with me, even though she has passed away. It stayed with me because I was thinking, this woman's done it all. Like, this woman like went through war. She took on like other her husband's kids. She had her own kids. Like, she got married twice. She went through everything that a human being could physically go through, emotionally and physically, because she did suffer abuse from her husband. But she went through it all. And yet when it came to crunch time, she was petrified to leave.
It's like that famous phrase, I don't want to go.
Yeah. And she was...
Because it's weird, but you think that maybe they have seen the other side.
Yeah.
For that brief second, maybe they have seen the other side.
But for me, it feels like my life is kind of almost complete. Right? And I've done so much shit. Like, you know I've done so much shit.
Oh, yes.
But for me to do all of this, and at such a young age, I feel like...
And you've got to
whatever comes, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever, like...
I've done what I wanted to.
Yeah, whatever life throws at me, I'm going to enjoy every aspect of it. But if my time comes, it comes, right? But to look at death in that woman's eyes and see, like, what the fuck is she scared of? Like, why is she so scared? Like, she's not going to die now. I mean, she died, like, 8 months later. But what the fuck what was running through her head?
What has she seen? What has she...
Yeah, I mean, she came close to death 4 times before this. Like, she went into a coma. She went into a coma, like...
That extreme...
She didn't even know where she was. And for someone to grab my hand, look at me and be like, I don't want to die yet. Like, was it fear that I might not be able to go on without her? Was it leaving her loved ones behind? Something.
As you said, if she didn't really know what was going on, why is she now carrying... Like, not, you know, but why is she now going, I've got to make sure he's okay?
Yeah, why is she now thinking that? But something locked into her. And ever since that moment, like last year, I looked at her and I was like, what the fuck is she scared of? Like, I've gone through my life not necessarily having phobias or fears, but things I don't quite like. Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm scared of them. I'm not. Like snakes.
Yeah. You can't say that one anymore.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, what was it? I mean, for this woman to have that many wrinkles of tails in her skin, to then get close to death and then be fucking scared shitless. And for me to go, shit, what is she scared of? Like, this woman ain't scared of nothing. She's gone through it all. Why is she now scared? What awaited her on the other side? That is now prominent in my mind. Like, thinking, like, what was it she didn't want to face when she passed away?
So you could, like, I could sit here and be like, well, it could be this, it could be that.
Many people would be like, what have you done in your life to go to heaven or hell?
But for me personally, with being brought up in that kind of circle and that kind of thing, to say that yes, there is something there. Yes, we don't quite know what it is.
Yeah.
We're giving it this category, but there's something there. Like for me, I would say that dark figure that she's not necessarily scared of, not necessarily she's not keen on it.
No. So maybe she was scared to meet it.
And that could be her husband.
It could be.
Or the abusive one.
Yeah, it could have been.
You know what I mean?
Could have been.
Whereas the other dark figure that lied down next to her could have been
her son, because she lost her son, like...
Or it could have been the son.
Lost her son... Well, I lost my uncle, like, 2 years before that. But then I kind of think, like, without...
But then that's just me going, oh, it could be this, it could be that.
Yeah, but then for me to keep her alive for so long, in my head, I'm thinking, like... I literally saved her life so many times. And for me to then go, what is she now scared of? Yeah. She weren't scared, like, 2 months ago.
No.
I'm like,
what has changed?
Yeah, what does she know? Because she was barely talking. If that makes sense, like, you couldn't have a conversation.
No, she, as you said, she was quite... Well, when I saw her, she was quite, you know...
Frail.
Within herself, yeah. Sort of.
But it's like,
really.
What awaits you? What legacy are you going to leave behind?
Yeah.
What are you gonna find out?
Well, there we go.
But seriously, it kind of.
If I die and get abducted by aliens, I'm not gonna be happy.
I'll write a book on it. I'll put aliens, ghost encounter.
But no, like it's
just funny. Like you say, you know, you believe in ghosts, but part of you didn't believe in aliens. Part of you believes we're like fucking evolved from monkeys. You watch people in the comments be like, he does look like a monkey. He's hairy like a monkey.
I'm a gorilla.
But it is.
Or as my family keep calling me, a silverback. I'm a hairy motherfucker, and I come from a very. Like, if you see my brothers, they're not hairy at all.
If you
well, one of them is, he's got hairy on.
You will literally like look at you'll look at people and think, yeah, you definitely originate. Some people do like animals.
No, they do.
Not gonna lie, some people do look like animals.
Yeah.
And other people, you're like, oh, you ain't from this earth, are you? You look a bit weird. The guy with like the tin-foiled hat walking around there, they come in and get me.
And the bloke behind him going, alright, he's just a bit. Don't worry.
With his carer. He'll die next week. I'm gonna get so many hate comments.
But yeah,
so
I think we'll leave it there for now.
Do these guys, do they believe in aliens? Do you think they exist? Do you think ghosts exist? Like, everyone has a story to tell. Everyone has experienced something. So maybe...
Yeah, it's like, chuck us a comment.
What have you experienced that's really fucking weird? Like, that you can't explain? Like, I mean, so fucking weird, like that 4-hour shit. Like, that's weird.
That is weird.
That's time travel.
That is time travel.
That's another topic.
But that, we'll leave that for the next one.
Yeah, we will.
As we've got quite a few topics out.
We will.
We've got quite a few topics out of that thing, so we've got some more topics for the next video.
But I'm sure if people wanna, like, if you want us to talk about anything, feel free.
Yeah, by all means, leave a comment.
Like, feel free, just drop anything down there, and we'll just talk shit about it. And you guys can.
And we'll discuss it. From
nothing religion.
No, that's.
I'm sure some flat earthers are probably gonna be like, he's a flat earther, bro. He's among us.
He must believe in Moses. But but no, like, by all means, like, if we'll have a look through the comments and everything anyway.
If anyone leaves us any.
If anyone leaves us any, there might just be a dislike.
Hate us. I don't mind.
And one love that I secretly make. Like, click.
But I'll click it. I'll give us some love. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll leave it there.